Basic research for librarians. Hello everyone. Before I start with my topic, I would like to introduce myself first. I am Jonami C. Rosales, currently studying Bachelor of Library and Information Science. So I am going to discuss the first chapter of the book, which entitled Research and Librarianship. What is research? There is no one definition of research, in part because there is more than one kind. Considering research in general sense, Merriam-Webster Online Dictionary defined it as studious inquiry or examination, especially investigation or experimentation aimed at the discovery and interpretation of facts, revision of accepted theories, or loss in the light of new facts or practical applications of such new or revised theories or laws. Hillway, in his introductory text on research methods, defined research as a method of study by which, through the careful and exhaustive investigation of all the ascertainable evidence bearing upon a definable problem, we reach a solution to that problem. Molly stated that research is best conceived as the process of arriving at dependable solutions to problems through the planned and systematic collections, analysis, and interpretation of data. The general definition suggests that there are at least two major types of research, one of which is basic research. Basic research, also referred to as pure, theoretical, or scientific research, is primarily interested in deriving new knowledge and is at most only indirectly involved with how that knowledge will be applied to specific practical or real problems. The second major type of research is usually known as applied research. In contrast to pure or basic research, applied research emphasizes the solving of specific problems in real situations. Much of the library-related research has been applied research dealing with everything from evaluating book collections to analyzing automated circulation systems. But in spite of the fact that basic and applied research have tended to be conducted in isolation from one another, they are not necessarily dichotomous. When we say dichotomous, dividing into two parts, so that means they still remain as one. As Sharon noted, research is no less pure for leading to useful results, though it most certainly does not have to possess immediate applicability to qualify as research. In other words, basic research often leads to practical applications, while applied research frequently acts as a foundation for subsequent theoretical or basic research. Stokes also dismissed this dichotomous notion of the relationship between basic and applied research. Research also can be dichotomized as quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative research methods involved a problem-solving approach that is highly structured in nature and that relies on the quantification of concepts where possible for purposes of measurement and evaluation. Qualitative research methods focus on observing events from the perspective of those involved and attempt to understand why individuals behave as they do. Types of previous library research. According to Shira Ralph Bills, once categorized library literature into the tripartite classification of glad tidings, testimony, and research, and noted that there was little of the last. Goldhor, in his next text in library research categorize library literature with regard to research including 1. A relatively small body of published research as defined in the narrow sense. 2. A larger amount of published and unpublished services studies or applied research. 3. An even larger number of reports or descriptions of specific situations or simply opinions. 4th, original data. Limitations of previous library research. Unfortunately, the past research record for library and information science is not exemplary. It has been easier to find criticism of library research than praise. As Busha and Harter stated, a large proportion of librarianship's research has been uneven in quality and demonstrably weak methodologically. Quadra identified shortcomings in library and information science research so far as purpose is concerned. He noted a failure to ask the right questions and to establish a proper theoretical foundation for later research of application. On what else do this writer and others base their rather negative evaluations of much of the previous library research? Garrison, while acknowledging that considerable advances has been made in public library research in the previous decade, went on to itemize several shortcomings of research, including the following. First, researchers have not disseminated their results adequately. Second, practitioners have not kept up with the research results that have been reported. Third, the profession has been too content with non-research reports. Fourth, the audiences for research journals have been too limited. Fifth, dissertations have seldom had any relationship to previous or subsequent research. Sixth, the impact of reported research has been weakened due to poor bibliographic control and inadequate availability of copies. Godal reported that a variety of topics were being investigated by public librarians in England, yet the methodologies used for the studies were limited. Rationale for basic research in library and information science. As indicated earlier, one of the major purposes of basic research is to create new knowledge. One of the hallmarks of a profession is the ability of its members to give advice to clientele derived from a body of generalized and systematic knowledge that comprises its theoretical core. As Busha and Harter argued that if librarianship is to merit the coveted designation science, a significant number of scholars and research workers must regularly apply scientific method to analyze relationships among the problems which librarians are obligated to explore and which they are qualified to serve. In other words, a profession that would know itself, that would anticipate or, to use Gabor's phrase, invent the future, must support and engage in productive research. Management. The application of research findings should result in improved decision making, more knowledgeable insights into a wealth of library issues, better and more accountable services and programs, and the continued maturation of library information science as a discipline profession. Thus, there is the need for academic librarians to possess an understanding of data gathering techniques which are informed by an understanding of the nature of the research methodologies available and an understanding of the nature of the statistical analysis techniques available. Reading research reports. Another benefit of having a reasonable mastery of basic research methods is that it should allow one to understand and critically evaluate the research reports of others. According to Swisher, the reader who understands the process of research will question much more about the literature in general and correctly identify the working limitations of the literature. Some librarians, particularly special librarians, are expected to evaluate or screen research reports for their clientele. Unfortunately, as Sullivan has contended, not only do librarians who are practitioners tend to be too busy and unskilled to conduct their own research, but more seriously, they are also either uninformed or unwilling to accept or unable to judge critically the research of others in the field of librarianship. As Williams and Winston stated, the research literature in any discipline can serve to further the scholarly discussion, advance the theoretical base of the profession, and inform practice. Personal benefits. Perhaps most important among the benefits one could expect to realize from a study of research method is the ability to conduct research. Awareness of research methods and design also should prove helpful for those preparing research proposals in order to obtain financial support for their research activities. In addition, it has been pointed out that the study of research methods can improve one's ability to think critically and analytically, competencies associated with leadership. A library's involvement in research can even improve staff morale and enhance the library's status in its community. The future of library research. As Busha noted, past weaknesses of library-related research can at least partially be explained by the fact that research in librarianship is still relatively young. But who is going to be qualified to conduct that kinds of research needed? How will they be trained? And how will practitioners be equipped to read and utilize this research? Shearer provided at least one answer to those questions when he wrote, "Research is too important to be left to dilettantes and amateurs, and its pursuit should be preserved for those who are qualified for it by aptitude, education, and motivation." Before I end my discussion, I would just like to share these phrases that is wrote by Muller. He stated, "Students should learn to appreciate the contribution of research and be urged to rid themselves of the notion that research is something esoteric, remote, or impractical." That will be all. Thank you.